Hey guys, welcome back to the house, or should I say welcome home, because you know all of we in this together. Shaka and I realize that you all have not had a proper house show in a minute. I think it might have been the end of February when you just got a chance to look around and see how I am spending our money and to see how our project is progressing. So we don't have any guests today and we ain't going anywhere. We're just looking around, telling you what's happening at the house, showing you what's happening at the house, and telling you about what will be happening as we move forward. I'm Kelly Johnley and this is Bajan Renovation. Well, as we're already outside, I guess we should start here. So for those of you who may have joined us a little later in the journey, the facade of the house is very different. We used to have a very nice patio right here, which has been reclaimed for the master bedroom. So we have taken down what would have been the exterior wall so that we can enclose the patio, and we now have this smooth finish. And of course, you know, we had that popcorny finish before. To be honest, I didn't mind it. I thought it was just a part of the personality of the house. Well, let's just say all the guys working on the house were like, no, you know, because it's their house too now. So we have plastered the exterior. Let's go and take a look at what's happening inside. So we are entering what was originally the garage. This, of course, as you can see, it has been reclaimed, but where I'm standing is where I would now park my vehicle. This area over here, I'm going to put pavers on it. The road that we are on is pretty narrow, and I wanted to just at least have my own designated parking area for at least 2 other cars. So you can take a look around, and as you could see, the walls are primed. You will still see scaffolding as you go through, because as I was advised, that even though this house is not an upstairs and downstairs house, this activity of mine of, oh, no, we could just raise the roof, now incurs upstairs and downstairs money. So we are on to tiling, and I'm excited that the project is now at a place where I feel comfortable talking about the things, because you know, after we went through that little valley of darkness where we had no roof or no side wall, I had to depend on a lot of experts to guide me. But we're now at the stage of picking things and bringing the other experts who bring all the niceties to the space. So let me tell you a little story about the tiles. I'm particularly excited about this stage because we were able to get back the tiler that did my parents' place. Don't tell them nothing, but this is what my parents' place looked like when it was getting tiled. Now, I don't know who my parents know that sell tiles, right? They tiled everywhere, and not just the floors. They had floor to ceiling tiling in the bathroom. They took the tiling onto the walls in the washroom. But I really like the work that was done there. And I saw that how tiles can help to define a space. So now that you've had a little glimpse of what their space looks like, good evening, mommy, we're now here doing mine. So as you know, I went to Terrific Tiles to choose them. Now, I'll confess, the tiles that I did eventually get were not my first pick. Your girl could not afford the tiles that she originally chose. So I ended up with what I would call my second choice. It is a very similar color, but the actual plank or the tile itself is shorter. Now that it's here, I'm quite fine with it. It is a porcelain tile and it is called Albero Basin. Now, I would have shared some inspiration pictures with you. Here they are again. And this is the final look that I am going for. I know everybody has their personal preference in terms of the energy that they want their home to have. I personally prefer a home that feels calm, a space that feels quiet. I find my work is very busy, during the days I'm all over the place. I'm fairly high energy when I am at work, but when I come home, I like my space to be quiet. So as you can see, the process has started. Now, someone asked a question, a good question, because I had to ask the contractor. Why do we tile before we paint? I wanted to know myself. So he said it is a matter of preference for the contractor. But he said what happens is that when you are tiling, the tiler, there will be a lot of splashing along the base of the wall, which means that if you have already painted, the painter now has to come back and clean the walls. And he said that can be time consuming. It could also get expensive. It is easier for them to tile now, put something to cover the floors, which they will, and then they can always go and place any baseboards or anything like that, or do any cleaning of the tile once they have finished with the painting. It is easier for them to clean the tile than it is to clean the wall. So that is why they are tiling now and not after they paint. Another reason why they are tiling now is that the tiling needs to take place before the kitchen comes in. So again, why? And this was a good point, because sometimes we don't think these things all the way through, as Vicky has told me. There's a reason why things are done in this order. Now, while people tend to not change out their kitchens, regularly, he said if they put the kitchen down first, the tiler is going to have to cut the tiles around all the bases of the cupboards, which means that if you ever have to take up your cupboards for whatever reason, you will now be looking at the concrete. He said that's a problem because obviously you may not build back your kitchen in the same configuration. But then the other thing you need to think about is, will you even have the tile to put back in the space? So, two good reasons. One, it is going to save us with the cleanup for the paint job, and also the tiling needs to go down before the kitchen. So about the walls, what you are seeing on the walls now is the primer. It is surface prep for the paint. Now, we're going back and forth on this color business. In my heart, I have settled on white, and I know it is not the most adventurous color, but as I said, I prefer a calmer space, and there is a fairly cohesive look that I am going for. If my daughter wants to go and have a pop of color in her room, if she wants to paint it a different color, I don't mind. I will let her have that. But as far as the main house and my bedroom, or should I say the communal areas and my bedroom go, it will be white. Another thing I'm mindful of, as we have belabored, is the height of these ceilings. Paint will always be one of the easiest ways you can spruce up a space if you can reach your ceiling. Okay, we already see what's going on here just to put on primer. Now, something I need to correct myself on. All the time that the guys were working through the house, I kept saying that they were slicking the wall. They weren't slicking the wall, they were plastering the wall. So just to make sure we have the right terminology. Now, what happens now with the paint, even though it will be white, it will be a coarse finish. I personally would have wanted a smooth finish, but you would remember from the early stages of demolition, we have several surfaces going on here. We have, from when this house was built almost 40-50 years ago, we have surfaces from the extensions that they did. Then you would have had water damage that you could see coming through the walls at different points. Then you would have all the colors, because remember, every room in this house was a different color. Then on top of that, you would have what we would have built on, which would have been the roof, but then also any extensions that we are doing. In order to get that smooth finish, we would have to come in and sand the walls and do all sorts of things that your girl does not have A, the money for, or B, the patience for. So I was advised by the painter, the contractor, by Vicky, by the valuer, by enough people to left out that, right? So we're going with a coarse finish. It will be the white that I want, but the finish, not my favorite, but this is not the hill I'm prepared to die on. So about the money. Now, every day that the contractor does not call me and ask me to send money is a good day. The fact that we got to Wednesday and he ain't asked nothing means that I am good for the rest of the week. So last time we spoke about money, I told you that I still had $16,000 from the bank. I still have it. So what has been happening in between, there have been a few things, like literally a few, that they may need on site. Those are things that I try to get out of pocket. This week we had to get the back window. So I went to Steelworks, I got the window. I was told this morning that there is some 5-gallon something that they need for the tiler. I will go and get it. In terms of what else I am trying to do out of pocket, the lighting. I would like to be able to do the lighting out of pocket. I would also get like my toilet, my vanity, as much of the bathroom that can be done out of pocket. I will do that. I've already set aside some money for the tiles for the bathroom. So when I say the bathroom, I don't mean the tiles, but that is what I am doing there. And I'm doing my best to see how far I can get on my own, because when I am asked to transfer another $10,000 or anything like that, understand that we are getting to the bottom of this bucket. So I have been working very hard in the Lord's vineyard, but the truth of the matter is, one of the concerns I have is that the work goes faster in here. You know, it's a catch-22. You want people to work fast and you want the house to finish, but I'm also mindful of the fact if they decide now that they're going to try to finish this house in 2 to 3 weeks, your girl gotta find the money for the house. So I'm taking this 1 week at a time, but right now I still have the money from the bank. I am holding my coppers to do the lighting on my own, and I will do the bathroom with the exception of the tiles. And the irony of me telling you this now after telling you about how I'm planning to save money is that, look, I have 2 settings. I am your rich auntie, or I am your frugal friend. I do not have an in-between setting, okay? We either going there or we ain't going there. So I was just saying that we know that the kitchen is being done off site. I want to inject some color into the space. I have always, for some reason, liked this color of green, deep green, army green, I don't know what you call it, but I like it. And I have the option of having my cupboards painted. Now, if my kitchen was bigger, I do not think I would even nearly consider this. But I have spoken to the kitchen designer and said, look, I want to at least have my base cupboards one color and my top cupboards another. And you might be thinking it's a big commitment in terms of having a kitchen in a color. I'm comfortable with it. I like to see it, and I do think it will give the interior just a little bit of interest. See, so I'm not shying away from color completely, but I'll find a picture to show you. It is a picture of my former office. When I had a 9 to 5, they told me I could paint the office any color that I want, and that was the color I chose, and for some reason I still really like it. Another thing that I want to do in the kitchen is a butcher block countertop. My friend Judith has one in her house, and I want one too. That's all. And because my counter is small, I am prepared to invest in that. So we are budgeting where we can. Okay, don't judge me. It's my house and my money. So there's one question I get every week without fail. So I'll answer it for this week. What would I have done differently had I known better? Something I'll just caution you against, you probably figured this out, is that demolition goes very fast. So if at any point you have the opportunity to make a change to your property, let's just say the wall that may take 2 or 3 weeks to go up can come down in an afternoon, okay? Same for a roof. The roof that might take them 2 or 3 weeks to put on can come off in an afternoon. So be very clear that if you're taking something away from your structure, you really want it gone, because you will go work, come back, and it will be gone. The other thing which I have learned is, minus our lesson on variances, which was a whole schooling, is that renovation math is a little different from regular math. And here's a quick example. Let's say you have $20,000 for your new kitchen. Your assumption is that you are adding $20,000 of value to a property by adding this $20,000 kitchen. You have to factor in the cost of the demolition. right? So let's say it costs $5,000 to demolish your current kitchen. You're really not only putting in $15,000. It's a small example, but it is something that you need to consider if you're doing a big reno like this. Whatever your house is valued at when you purchase it, once you start demolishing the property to make your changes, bear in mind you are driving the value of the property down into the ground. It becomes less inhabitable the more tearing down you take. The bank pays attention to that because remember, they are lending you with the goal of the property being valued at a certain amount once the changes are made. So just keep in mind that even if you have $20,000, $50,000, all of that is not improved value on the property. There is a portion of that you are going to be putting into the ground for the demolition, and then the difference now is how you manage your project to bring it back up to the value you need it to be to satisfy the bank's interests. So you saw everything. You can let me know what you think in the comments. Now a housekeeping note. No pun intended. You may now be getting 2 shows a month. The reason being is that, well, a good thing is that in our business, Pivot Productions, we're getting very busy. And I need to make money to finish this. So y'all know that I'm working with Shaka. I'm also working with some other people. We actually need to be able to go out and film some longer days with them. And that kind of compromises the time that we get here because it's hard to film these shows after Wednesday. So that's just a little housekeeping. So please don't think that we're running away. I will continue to update you in the stories. And you know, I might try my hand at a reel or 2. But I want you to know that we do have a field trip coming up. A lot of you have asked if I would ever look at another property or show somebody else's renovation. Stay tuned. I'm Kelly Johnley, and this is Bajan Renovation.